This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
It is now 7 o'clock on this Thursday. I saw that sunrise that we're waking up to. It's really pretty.
Beautiful and orange. I mean, at least it's pretty, even though it's a bit cold out there.
Yeah. It's one of those days where it looks prettier than it actually is going to be. But yeah, we're seeing temperatures right now in the 20s, 21 degrees in Corydon, 25 in Lebanon, 28 at the airport. But here's that sunrise that we're talking about on our SkyTrack camera in New Albany. Absolutely beautiful. And one big thing I'm noticing on this image as well, not a lot of ice in the Ohio River anymore. After we saw those 60s earlier this week and then above freezing temperatures for the past couple of days, yeah, a lot of that ice has melted. So getting a little less frozen on the Ohio. We're watching some upper level clouds streaming in the parts of southern Indiana right now. We'll add in more of those clouds for later on this afternoon as our temperatures return to the 40s for your highs. And as we head into the weekend, some warmer weather on the way. Rob.
Okay, Tawana, that sounds great. Thanks so much. And at 7:01, good morning to you. Here with a traffic update and not a lot to talk about. It is a clear commute so far this morning. We like that. Look how beautiful the sky is at 265 in Bardstown Road. Traffic picking up a lot more than it was just 15, 20 minutes ago, but pretty much a smooth commute. No accidents or tie-ups in that area. And looking at the big picture right now, pretty much the same thing. If we do see changes, we'll let you know throughout the morning. Let's go back over to Olivia.
Thank you, Rob. A woman is in jail after Jeffersonville police say she stole a police car and used it to hit an officer. Police arrested Jasmine Shekels. Investigators say Shekels was involved in a robbery at the Miranda Apartments on Saturday night. Police say they found a victim who had been beaten and her phone was stolen. When officers tried to stop Shekels, they say she got into a police car and hit an officer as she tried to take off. The officer was taken to the hospital and was later released. Jeffersonville police say the incident was caught on video.
There's some details that we'll be able to provide later, kind of, once we release the video, and you can kind of really see for yourself the behavior that was exhibited by Ms. Shekels. I think once you see it, you'll understand the magnitude of just how dangerous it could have been.
A probable cause affidavit states officers knew Shekels from previous situations where people in the community described her as violent and unpredictable.
A safety alert this morning. LMPD is releasing new images of a person they believe is connected to a shooting at a liquor store. These are the pictures. Police say they believe this man is armed and dangerous. Investigators say he's connected to a shooting at Lori's Liquors on West Market Street in December. A victim was shot in the stomach inside the store. You're encouraged to avoid him and call police if you see him.
Today, Mayor Craig Greenberg will deliver his annual State of the City address. That's happening at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts downtown. Doors open at noon, and Mayor Greenberg will begin his address at 1 o'clock. The mayor is expected to address safety, infrastructure, and more. We'll bring you the details on what he discusses right here on Wave.
An apartment fire in Jeffersontown left 6 apartments damaged from flames, smoke, and water, and those residents are now without a home.
The fire happened at the Park Laureate Apartments off Stony Brook Drive and Taylorsville Road. Rob Wells is back with details. Rob.
Hi, Olivia. The fire department says that luckily nobody was hurt, but first responders did have to rescue pets while putting out the flames. Investigators tell us that the flames themselves, they spread quickly, climbing all the way to the roof. Crews were forced to fight the fire from the outside. We spoke with a woman who lives close to the building that caught on fire. She said at the very first, it was pretty tough to understand what was going on with all the chaos.
People were screaming, and I was like, did somebody get into a wreck or what's going on? I walked outside and just looked over, and there were flames just bursting out of the bottom apartment over there.
Now, right now, investigators, they're still working to determine the cause of that fire. Some residents say while the fire was a shock, they're just glad that everyone, pets included, got out safely. No word yet on a total damage amount. Meanwhile, the American Red Cross is helping residents left without a place to stay. Shannon, back over to you.
Thank you. We are learning more about the guns used in the deadly shooting at Harvest Homecoming in 2024.
Evidence collected at the scene and later analyzed by police, including a gun that was allegedly used that night, took up most of the testimony during Isaiah Page's trial yesterday. Police say they found 6 9mm cartridge cases and 2 .40 caliber cartridge cases after the shooting. 18-year-old Bryce Gerlach was killed and 2 others were hurt during the shooting. Prosecutors say Page killed Gerlach. 2 weeks after the shooting, though, a gun was recovered during the arrest of Joshua Smith, one of the defendants in this case. It was tested and matched 9mm casings from the Harvest Homecoming scene. Joshua Smith was initially charged with murder, but took a plea deal and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Smith is one of the suspects expected to testify in Isaiah Page's trial later this week.
A bill called the Crystal Rogers Act will now be considered by Kentucky senators. The bill was passed by the House. It is meant to protect criminal investigations by punishing anyone who records or shares grand jury testimony. Recording a grand jury is already illegal in Kentucky, but the statute of limitations is 1 year. The bill would raise it to 10 years. Sponsors say a bill like this would have allowed them to prosecute Brooks Houck's family after it was discovered they secretly recorded testimony on Rogers' case. A bill aimed at making housing more affordable in Kentucky is taking a step forward. The bill would provide property tax rebates to developers for up to 7 years in designated housing development districts. It cleared a Senate committee yesterday. Senator Robbie Mills says the legislation removes red tape and regulations to streamline the home construction process.
We need to get people off the streets and things of that nature, people that are surfing couches. They hit affordable housing, and people move out of affordable housing into their first-time homeowners. That makes room for more affordable housing.
Additional proposed legislation would waive sales tax on building supplies for first-time home builders and buyers.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is out of the hospital and working from home. Kentucky's longest-serving senator was released from the hospital after an 8-day stay. He checked himself in after experiencing flu-like symptoms. A statement from McConnell's office says he's grateful for the outstanding care he received and he's feeling better. McConnell will work from home this week as suggested by his doctors. The 83-year-old is not seeking re-election and will leave the Senate at the end of his term in January of next year.
Investigators in Arizona got more than 4,000 calls after the FBI released these footages of a masked person outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. The 84-year-old mother of Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie has not been seen since January 31st. The footage the FBI released marked a major update in her disappearance. They also found a black glove near Guthrie's home that's being tested for DNA. It is not known if it was the glove that the person was seen wearing in that video. The Sheriff's Department has fielded more than 18,000 tips since Guthrie was reported missing.
We're just 79 days away from the Kentucky Derby, and submissions to take part in the 2026 Kentucky Oaks Survivors Parade are now open. This year's parade will honor 150 breast and ovarian cancer survivors and fighters. The survivors chosen will get 2 tickets to celebrate Oaks on Friday, May 1st. Survivors have until Tuesday, March 3rd to submit their stories online. You can find the link to submit your story on our website, wave3.com, and the winners will be announced on Friday, March 6th. The first shipment of this year's Pegasus pins will arrive at the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience on Main Street today. This will be the first location to sell the 2026 Pegasus pins, which get people into several KDF events for free, including Thunder Over Louisville and Kroger's Festival. Evan Williams will also be selling special edition bottles commemorating the 54th edition of the pins and the 71st Derby Festival. You can learn more about the pins at PegasusPins.com. And Wave is your official Kentucky Derby station, so stick with us as we cover all of the events leading up to the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, and keep an eye on that countdown because it sneaks up on us every year.
It certainly does. Still to come, the National Farm Trade Show is back for its 60th year.
We'll show you some of the massive tractors and the latest farming technology coming up after the break.
The world's largest indoor farm trade show is back this week at the Kentucky Exposition Center.
It's the 60th year the event's brought together farmers, manufacturers, and agricultural professionals from around the globe to explore the latest farming technology. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke tells us what people can expect over the next few days.
If you can tell, this tractor is so big that I can just lay in the middle of it. And then when I stand up, it's still taller than me. And that is the same for so many pieces of equipment. If you come out to the expo for the world's largest farm equipment show, I'm here with Clinton Charles. And Clinton, you guys have a massive tractor that also is special for this year.
Yeah, so thanks for coming out to the National Farm Machinery Show here in Louisville. You know, we're celebrating the 60th anniversary. Well, along the same lines, the U.S. is celebrating our 250th, right? So we have a special one of one. This is one of our Magnum tractors, front wheel assist tractors produced in Racine, Wisconsin. And when we say one of one, it's got a special stars and stripes paint job to help celebrate the 250th here.
And you have been in this industry for so long. We already said this event has been going for 60 years, and you have been coming out for about 10-ish years. So what have you noticed about the equipment through the years?
There's two things. There's two really key things, and one is the scale. Everything is scaling larger and larger.
Oh, yeah.
We're trying to do more with less, right? The time windows are shorter. We're just trying to do more, getting wider, getting taller, getting bigger. The other thing is just the sheer volume of technology changes, and technology these days, as you know, you look at the consumer world, everything is changing so rapidly, and GPS is a key component now of a tractor. And you go back 10, 15 years ago, that steering wheel was critical. You go back 40 years, and everybody had that steering wheel. Nowadays, if you have to touch that steering wheel, it's almost a challenge. So you see more GPS, you see more automation. It's all happening so fast and changing so quickly.
And people can come see some of that latest technology when they come out this weekend for the show. And I know the doors open at 9 a.m. on Thursday and throughout the rest of the week. So guys, if you want to see how big some of these tractors go, come out to the Expo Center and see for yourself. Because like I said, I'm 5'4", and these bad boys are taller than me. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
Laddered even just to get in there.
I was going to say, I don't even think she tried to crawl into one of those this morning, because getting up on top, it's tough work.
It is for sure. And from personal experience, I'm just never going to try.
Right? Stay on the ground.
Stay on the ground.
It's a good thing you're a meteorologist, not a farmer.
Listen, I will stay where I'm meant to stay, and that is on the ground on my two legs, and those are questionable most days. For those of you heading out right now, we are seeing temperatures in the 20s to start everything off. So we're off to a chilly start in the metro, 28 degrees at the airport, but 30 here at Wave News downtown, 26 in the Sellersburg, a little bit colder up into Palmyra, where it's currently 18 degrees. You're our cold spot right now, but the sun is starting to come up over the horizon, leading to these beautiful sunrises on our SkyTrack cameras. Some extra clouds already starting to drift into parts of southern Indiana. These are upper level clouds as of right now. And as we continue throughout the day, we are going to see more of those clouds rolling in, with temperatures jumping into the 40s for your highs. So even though we have the extra clouds overhead this afternoon, enough of that sunshine should be able to filter through to help with the warming trend. Now, once we head into tonight, a lot of those clouds clear out. Temperatures drop down into the 20s for your lows. Your 10-day shows that for tomorrow, it's all about the sunshine. Highs back into the 50s. More of those 50s with increasing clouds on Saturday. So if you're planning anything for Valentine's Day, keep in mind, most of the daytime hours are looking dry. It's not till Saturday night into Sunday morning that we'll add in more of that rainfall, courtesy of another area of low pressure that'll be moving through for the middle and end of the weekend. On your Sunday, we have a lot more of that rain in our forecast, and we do look to dry out once we head into Sunday night. So that means after this system, typically we'll look at cooling temperatures, right? Not this time around. This time around, we're looking at temperatures warming up as we head through the first half of next week. And we could even see highs near 70 degrees as we get towards next Wednesday and Thursday, depending on cloud cover and how strong the winds are. Now, behind that warmth comes some more of those showers and thunderstorms arriving as early as Thursday. Then we're going to keep some sort of rain chance in our forecast all the way into the following weekend. Olivia?
Those temperatures look better, though. Like it. Thanks to Anna. A new bookstore, wine bar, and co-working space is coming to New Lou. Your Mom's Bookstore and Wine Cafe and Greenhouse Workspace will be moving moving into the new Marketplace expansion on Main Street. The bookstore will serve as a space for author talks, reading, and intimate events. The co-working space will have 11 private offices that can hold up to 4-person teams. People will be able to host in-person meetings and presentations. There will also be virtual membership options available. Both spaces are currently under construction and set to open in the spring.
A local event is highlighting achievements and accomplishments in Black history. That's the choir from Grace James Academy performing at the Achievements in Black History event hosted by Gilda's Club. They were just one of the groups featured at the Republic Bank Foundation YMCA Wednesday. We spoke to the program's director about some of the Black history makers highlighted.
Having some of our older Black Americans to come in and speak, recite some of their poetry, and just recognizing them for being here today as well. But not only that, our present and our future. Our present is now, so it's our young people, and also the future. So we had some young adults that came in that did some speaking engagements for us as well.
And the event also featured local Black business owners. Okay, still ahead, skeleton luge, bobsled, all big winter sporting events at the Olympics. But do you actually know the difference between them?
We'll explain those sports, plus hear from a luge expert on what it takes to go for the gold. Well, picture a top speed of 90 miles an hour, not talking about in a car, but instead you're beelining on an icy track, riding a sled and letting gravity take control.
Pretty scary, and you're steering with your shoulders and your feet. That's what luge athletes have trained for leading up to the 2026 Winter Olympics. And we spoke to a luge expert who tried qualifying at the Olympic trials for the 1988 Winter Games. He's John Baker. That is sports reporter Dusty Baker's father. Now, he first saw elite lugers race on TV at the 1984 Games, and he was inspired to try it out. He says because there were fewer doubles teams trying to qualify, he and his partner decided they'd get in the best shape of their lives at a summer camp in New York. John says his Russian trainer's regimen tested their core, their endurance, and their ability to brace in the event of a crash. John says there are some big differences between the sled sports of luge, skeleton, and bobsled.
Start with the luge. The luge is a sled that you lay on your back, all right, and you control it with your shoulders and your feet. The bobsled is it's a totally different sled. So the way you start is you hold on to a handle on the sled and you run, and then you jump into it, and then you duck and you steer with these little controllers inside the sled. So it's a self-contained vehicle, basically, for lack of a better word. And then skeleton. You'll notice the skeleton guys, because they always have like a scar on their chin, because they go head first. And so when they get into the G-forces of the curves, their heads kind of on the ice sometimes. So, but all three of the sleds are completely different.
Interesting. Another contrast, luge can go down a bobsled track, but a bobsled can't go down a luge track. Wave anchor Jose Zazaya talks more with John. You can catch it tonight on Wave News at 11.
Well, the results are in, and NBC's Sunday's Super Bowl was the most watched program of the century on air. Nielsen reports more than 124 million viewers. That's the second highest rating of any show in U.S. history, behind only last year's Super Bowl on Fox. Super Bowl for viewership for the halftime show with Bad Bunny tops the average for both of those games. Nielsen says it garnered more than 128 million viewers.
U of L women's basketball will look to start another winning streak tonight as they take on Wake Forest at 7 p.m. at the KFC Center. After their 14-game winning streak was ended by the Duke Blue Devils, the Cards got back on track with a 19-point win in New York against Syracuse. And with that win, the Cards still sit 2 games in front of NC State for second place, only 1 game behind first place Duke. Tonight's theme will be books and basketball. Local elementary schools will be recognized for their participation in the Louisville Basketball Literacy Challenge during the month of January. Season ticket holders will also get exclusive prizes, experiences, and recognitions.
UK women's basketball will also be at home tonight, hosting Texas A&M as they search for their first win since knocking off Arkansas on February 1st. The Cats have lost 2 straight and 5 of their last 6, knocking them out of the top 25 for the first time since November 9th. At one point, they were ranked as high as 6th in the country, but UK has lost back-to-back games to ranked opponents, and after the game tonight, they'll play 2 more tough opponents in their upcoming games against Ole Miss and Vanderbilt. Fans will get a jersey rally towel while supplies last. Tip-off is set for 6:30, and you can watch it on the SEC Network. We'll be right back.
This Wave News update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan, and today Mayor Craig Greenberg will deliver his annual State of the City address. It's happening at 1 at the Kentucky Center for the Performing Arts downtown. The mayor is expected to address safety, infrastructure, and more. Of course, Wave News will be there. We'll let you know what he says later on Wave. Right now, here is Tawana taking a look at the weather.
And what we're seeing right now, some very cold temperatures waking up to basically everyone below the freezing mark. So seeing a lot of 20s out there this morning, but we're also watching quite a bit of sunshine to start off the day, some clouds, some mid-level clouds now drifting into our area. And we're seeing those pretty clearly on our SkyTrack camera in Starlight, Indiana, which makes for beautiful sunrise. We still have about 20 minutes before the sun actually fully comes up over the horizon. But these clouds are drifting in from the northwest, and they will continue to do so throughout the rest of the morning into the afternoon. Some sunshine still able to get through those clouds, though, at times as temperatures return to the 40s for your afternoon highs. Tomorrow, we have less of those clouds, more of that sunshine and more warmth with highs in the 50s. We'll add in additional clouds again for the weekend with rain chances going up for your Saturday night into Sunday morning. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much at 7:28. Good Thursday morning to you. A beautiful day out there so far. The roadways looking pretty clear. I want to bring your attention to this great shot. This is 265 at Bardstown Road. The sky is just clear as can be. What beautiful colors there is. Tawana was mentioning this earlier, but you may see some refreezing from all the thawing yesterday. Some of that water may have refrozen overnight on some of the pavements, so certainly watch that. No accidents to talk about as of right now. We certainly like that. The big picture looking pretty good. A couple of yellow areas are showing intermittent slowdowns, especially around the metro, so watch out for those. And here's a look at your drive times. We'll see you in 25 minutes from now. Make it a great Thursday morning.
Good morning and happy Thursday to you. I like to call it Friday Eve, already getting in the weekend spirit because we have so many things to look forward to this weekend. The temperature is going to be so much better. Might rain a little bit on Valentine's Day, but we're hoping those are the only waterworks you'll see this weekend. We're going to talk about some Olympics action coming up in just a few minutes. Rob Wells will be joining me again for that because there's some drama both in the athletic field and then apparently out of it. Trust me, we'll get to that and explain why one moment has gone viral. But first, President Donald Trump says Kentucky will be part of a new coal power plan. President Trump announced plans for the Department of Energy to issue funds to coal-fired power plants in Kentucky, West Virginia, Ohio, and North Carolina. The president also signed a new executive order directing the Department of Defense to enter into power purchasing agreements with coal plants.
And very importantly, we're also bringing our coal mines roaring back to life under 4 years of the Biden administration, Sleepy Joe. Not a single permit was approved for a new coal mining project. Think of it. 4 years, not one permit.
Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr was at the event. He said coal built Kentucky, and under President Trump's leadership, coal is powering America's future. Leaders at local police departments and prosecutors are joining together to urge Kentucky lawmakers to pass a bill to outlaw what are called Glock switches. A Glock switch is a small, often 3D printed attachment, roughly the size of a quarter. When it's installed, it transforms a standard semi-automatic handgun into a fully automatic machine gun capable of firing up to 1,200 rounds per minute. Chiefs from LMPD, J-Town Police, and E-Town Police have all signed a letter supporting the bill. Supporters of that bill point out 23 U.S. states already have banned the use of these switches.
We are not making anything illegal that is currently legal. It is already illegal to have this. What we're doing by making it a state law is we're enabling local law enforcement and local prosecutors to go after this and to get these things off our street. They are very, very deadly.
In Louisville alone, seizures of this device jumped from 31 in 2023 to 80 in 2024. The bill is still being considered in the House Judiciary Committee. A 17-year-old is recovering after police say he was shot in the Tyler Park neighborhood overnight. Police say the victim was shot in the leg on Rosewood Avenue near Bardstown Road. He was then transported to University Hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. LMPD is still trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. So far, no arrests have been made. Meanwhile, investigators say they've recovered a gun that was stolen from a car parked on the Meade County High School campus. Police say this happened Tuesday after students were dismissed from class. School leaders say there was no threat to students or staff. The school says a person or people connected to the theft have been arrested, and police have not named who was charged. Jefferson County Public Schools has broken ground on the new Seneca High School. The $100 million investment marks a major milestone in the district's ongoing commitment to addressing costly aging facilities. The building will feature 4 distinct areas that reflect each of Seneca's academies: agri-science and leadership, innovate, freshman, and health science. Students will also enjoy a new multi-sport stadium with turf field, a field house, and improved athletic complex. The new Seneca High School will be constructed on the same site as the existing school. It's expected to be completed before the 2028-29 school year. Legislation has been unanimously approved to expand access to non-opioid pain treatment and Medicaid and for patients across Kentucky. Kentucky continues to rank among the states with the highest opioid prescribing rates in the nation. Under Senate Bill 56, the Department for Medicaid Services, managed care organizations, and the state pharmacy benefit manager will be prohibited from denying coverage for a non-opioid pain medication when it's prescribed by a licensed provider. The bill also prevents the use of more restrictive utilization controls, including prior authorization or step therapy requirements for non-opioid pain treatments than those applied to opioids. Indiana Senator Todd Young says he wants to protect local news provided to the American communities during a committee hearing. He made the comments during a Federal Communication Commission's hearing on broadcast media ownership rules. The hearing focused on the Federal Communications Commission's current broadcast media ownership rules. In his speech, Young said, in part, quote, "If members of my community don't have access to their local news, it can be an impediment to useful information and the decisions they make, the actions they take. Our sense of community can be undermined." He went on to say, "But I actually think what's most at stake is our democracy. If I don't know what's happening, it's hard for me to meaningfully engage in democracy at the local level." Some lawmakers are pushing back on President Donald Trump's tariffs he placed on Canada. The U.S. has imposed a 35% tariff on most Canadian goods. The House voted to terminate the tariffs. 6 GOP lawmakers, including Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie, joined Democrats in voting for the bill. In a post on Truth Social, President Trump says any Republican lawmaker against tariffs will suffer the consequences come election time. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be diving into the Winter Olympics. And trust me, I mentioned the drama. It's good. It's interesting. So stick with us. Thanks so much for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. Okay, we've talked about the Winter Olympics, and it was a big day yesterday for Team USA.
It was exciting. I love some of the drama both on and off the ice. These could be made into stage plays, some of these stories. We're learning a lot more than what we ever anticipated with a lot of these folks, a lot of these families. That is right, though. The team collective, we've learned 5 more medals on Wednesday, now sitting just 1 medal behind leaders Norway and Italy. Madison Schock and Evan Bates, you see them right there. They competed in the figure skating ice dance free dance final. Now, they've been skating together, forget this, 15 years as partners, now 2 years as husband and wife. I wonder if that changes the game.
I don't know, but they're adorable.
Yeah, they are. And they're so energetic, and they seem to play off each other so well. Schock and Bates, by the way, they skated 19th of 20 teams, finishing with a final combined score of 224.39, which put them in first place. But unfortunately, it only lasted for just a few minutes before France's team, it topped it with a score of 225.82. It comes down to just such close razor hair thin margins. Schock and Bates finished with the silver medal.
It's bittersweet, obviously. Skated so well and skated 4 times over the last 6 days on Olympic ice. I mean, that is quite a feat, and we really skated great all 4 times. So we're super proud of that. And I think just the emotions at the end of the program were flooding through, and so much gratitude for the journey.
So the internet is really upset about this, actually, because they believe 100% that Schock and Bates should have won the gold here over France.
I think so too. And you have to wonder what kind of conversations, talk about playing Monday morning quarterback. What kind of conversation is that like in the car, back at the hotel room after, like, what could we, what should we, that's got to be a thing. And they're such high achievers, but you only hope the best for them. They've got a lot ahead of them.
And they still have a lot to be proud of too. A silver medal, still fantastic. We're proud of them.
Absolutely.
But we want to show you this celebration at Jordan Stoltz's former middle school. Look at these kids going crazy. This was after he won the gold in the men's speed skating 1,000 meters in an Olympic record time. All those kids so excited in all their red, white, and blue. Okay, so this time, 1 minute, 6.28 seconds. The 21-year-old didn't threaten his world record, which he also has, but he did beat that Olympic standard of 1 minute, 7.18 seconds. That set the record back in 2002. So I just can't get over these kids. But like the fact that we're showing not even showing the highlights from the competition, but the kids going crazy, that shows you the excitement. But this was also the first medal of any sort in the men's 1,000 meters for the United States since the 2010 Vancouver Games. Now Stoltz is looking forward to 3 more events in Milan.
A bit better than I thought it would. It means a lot. I've been training the last 4 years since the last Olympics.
Not sure what's happening.
He got tongue-tied.
Yeah.
You know what I love about that, though? When you see that, those kids, they're more excited than he was. They are more, and talk about, that's the definition to me, paying it forward. They're saying, hey, he went here. He's one of us. We can do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I like, it's all about inspiring and empowering the next generation, being like, I did this, I made it. It's tough along the way. You got to give up a lot, but you can do this too. Those kids were all over the place.
I want to check in with their local ice skating rink and see how many of them sign up to learn how to skate and possibly speed skate too because of him. I mean, that inspiration is incredible.
I want to know what the teacher had to do to calm back down. How many snacks did they get? How many naps? She's like, recess is still an hour away.
Yeah.
Sit down.
I can't imagine.
Go Team USA. My gosh.
But hopefully he can keep that momentum going because he still has to compete in the 500 meter, the 1500 meter, and the mass start final. So wishing him luck.
There is still a lot at stake with this one.
But for the first time this Olympics, the Italian Alps, the Star-Spangled Banner played at a medal ceremony after Team USA dominated the women's moguls final.
Absolutely. And the gold medal for Team USA was a big upset. The defending Olympic champion from Australia, who entered the finals in first place, made one bad turn in the middle of her final run, clearing the way for a brand new champion. We're talking about 20-year-old Liz Lemley. She finished her gold medal run with the final score. Did you see this? 82.30. She is the very youngest member of the United States moguls team and a first-time Olympian.
So happy. I was just in tears. I'm so happy that they're here and to share this moment with me. It's unreal. It hasn't quite hit me yet, but I'm sure it will soon.
Now, she wasn't the only one to medal in this event. Her teammate Jalen had to qualify for the finals in the second qualifying round after finishing 27th out of 30 after the first round. She said that having to qualify for the finals was an advantage because it mirrored a normal competition schedule, able to get her back in her routine, and it worked out. She put on a silver medal winning performance, finishing with a final score of 80.77. So next up for Lemley and Koff is the duels mogul competition, which starts on Saturday. So a lot of celebration there, but turnaround time, got to get ready for the next one.
Wow, how excited are her friends and family for her. Talk about an uplifting experience. That's right there front and center.
Literally
you will
uplifting.
never forget that moment.
Right.
You're literally at the top of your game.
But at the 2022 Winter Olympics, alpine skier Ryan Cochran-Siegel shocked the world when he claimed the silver medal for the Super G. 4 years later, the 33-year-old proved the performance was far from a fluke. The Cochran-Siegel left the starting gate third out of 42 racers. He had to wait and watch as the world's fastest speed skiers made their way down the mountain, and the wait proved to be worth it as his time, 1 minute 25.45 seconds. That earned him his second Olympic silver medal. Big congrats to him there.
Absolutely. They're all accomplished. They're all champions in their own way, no matter where you're at. And most of them are so young, they know they can do it again. You know, Lindsey Vonn, obviously a heartbreaking situation with that, but people were making a big deal that she's 41. 41's nothing.
Yep.
But for what she was trying to accomplish, she's going through a lot. What, 3 surgeries so far? And she's not done yet. She said she's got a long road ahead, but she said no regrets.
And a lot of times you have to wait for that swelling to go down before they can get in there and do that surgery. So we'll see what the future holds for her too.
We only hope the best, certainly so. Well, an Olympic medalist from Norway is people talking, but not because of an athletic performance we're talking about.
Yeah, this is the drama off of the field, as we say. It's
Oh,
biathlete Sturma Holm Lagrade. He confessed on Norwegian TV to cheating on his girlfriend.
What?
Well, now
What?
ex-girlfriend, I guess you could say. Right after the 28-year-old won the bronze in the men's 20-kilometer individual event, he told reporters he wanted to come clean, and he admitted to the world that he cheated after 3 months of dating, too. This was all about 6 months ago. And he said he's trying everything to get her back. Take a listen to this.
I haven't got any reactions from the girl that I mentioned. And yeah, I'm happy because then maybe she hasn't seen it. Maybe she will see it at the right time. I hope I don't make anything worse for her. But maybe it can help. I don't know. I hope there's a happy ending in the end. So we will see what time will do.
Okay, and I will say, I did read up on this. I had to follow up, find out if the girl ended up taking him back. She said no.
No.
Sorry. The internet's divided on this,
And
too.
here's the message to him. Less is more. Stop. Zip it. Zip it. You're already doing this at 4 months into it. That's her sign. Move on, pack up. You may be an Olympic champion, but you ain't no love that I'm going to marry. I mean, think about that. That tells you a lot. And he's just going on and on. I did see somewhere where she issued the statement, and thank God I don't see anywhere there's not a name or a photo.
Right.
So at least with that, but she's like, this is more than I ever even anticipated. This is a lot. You have a world stage listening to what could be a daytime drama. Again, less is more. Cut it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
And people have a lot of opinions on this. Some people saying she should take him back because he's on the biggest stage in the world and he confessed this. But people are also saying he guilted her into this, put her in this uncomfortable situation.
And he can give her all the medals in the world, but she needs to move on.
Yeah.
Time to pack it up. And he's just going on. And I don't know. Even the reporters seem puzzled. Like, what are we doing here? Is this a novel? Is this a Netflix special? Or are we at the Olympics?
Yeah.
It's drama.
Yeah, you have to feel bad for them at the end of the day. This is their personal lives, but hey, it's given us something to talk about. But something else that we're talking about, some of the athletes' medals have been broken.
What is that about? I saw, and some of them were saying, we literally were just kind of jumping up and down with them on our person, jumping out of joy, and they broke. What's that? Luckily, Olympic organizers said they think they found a fix. Local organizers investigated the Italian State Mint, which is producing the medals. The Milan Cortina 2026 communications director saying that only a few medals had defects. I don't know, what is a few? I've heard at least 3 or 4 so far.
That might be a few considering how many they've given out.
Right. And how much did they spend for these babies? Athletes whose medals were affected could return them so that they could be promptly repaired. Well, that's a great thought. U.S. Olympic downhill champion Breezy Johnson said she got a new one, but she wanted her original broken gold medal fixed and returned.
No, they couldn't fix it, so they gave me a new one. Although I'm actually curious because then I think some of the later ones they were able to fix. So now I'm kind of wondering if maybe I can get the old one back fixed. Well, the new one has not yet been engraved, and obviously it's not the one that I got originally, so.
She's keeping them real, man. She's like, I got that a real one. I got my fingerprints on that one already, and that's the one I want back. By the way, organizers did not specify what the problem was. I think even they're puzzled. Some suggested the issue may stem from the medal's clasp and ribbon, which is fitted with the breakaway mechanism required by law to avoid injury. Say what? You just want to jump around with that thing and say, hey, we brought it home. I don't buy it.
And I don't blame her for wanting the original medal back too, because even if she's going to wear it or not, even if it's broken, that's still a piece of history right there.
And the whole time I'm thinking, don't we test drive vehicles before we put them on lots? Don't you have somebody jump up and down the factory with these to make sure they're snag proof? They won't tear
Maybe
away.
they should from now on. That's a great idea.
Does everybody get a complimentary bottle of super glue in case you got to put it back together? We can do better than that for our champions.
We'll have to find out at the next Olympics, I guess.
I will wait and see.
Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us again. I mean, it's good to have different opinions, especially on the cheating scandal here. I think that's something that we could go on and on for days.
Keeping it real. There's a book deal somewhere in the works for this, I'm sure.
All right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some national headlines. The Federal Aviation Administration has lifted that temporary airspace shutdown over El Paso, Texas. That was only 8 hours after it was imposed, but now there's a lot more confusion than answers over what led to that closure in the first place. Late Tuesday, the FAA abruptly issued a flight restriction that immediately grounded all flights up to 18,000 feet above the city for 10 days. That pause was due to, quote, special security reasons, according to the FAA's website. It effectively shut down the El Paso International Airport. The Trump administration says a Mexican cartel drone crossed into U.S. airspace, triggering the restriction. However, multiple sources say the shutdown was due to a Pentagon plan to use a high-energy counter-drone laser without having coordinated with the FAA. Calls for clarification over the airspace closure are now mounting because of those terrible disruptions.
Evacuation flights were forced to divert to Las Cruces. All aviation operations were grounded, including emergency flights. This was a major and unnecessary disruption.
Cartel drones are often spotted near the border, but historically don't cause airspace closures. Leaders of some of the top social media companies are testifying in a lawsuit that claims their products are overly addicting. The head of Instagram, Adam Mosseri, testified in a Los Angeles Superior Courtroom yesterday. He was asked whether Instagram hooks young users. He says he doesn't think users can be, quote, clinically addicted to the app, though he did acknowledge that problematic use was possible. The trial comes after a now 20-year-old woman filed a lawsuit against YouTube and Instagram's parent company, Meta. She alleges the company deliberately developed addictive features to get young people hooked, and her mental health has been harmed as a result. A lawyer for Meta argued the woman's mental health challenges were due to her difficult childhood. Fiery testimony on Capitol Hill on Wednesday as Attorney General Pam Bondi went before the House Judiciary Committee. She clashed with lawmakers over a number of Trump administration controversies, but things got really heated over the Epstein files.
And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're a lawyer, not even a lawyer.
Survivors of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein sat in the House Judiciary Committee hearing and slammed the recent release of more than 3 million pages related to the investigation. While Bondi did not apologize over the DOJ's handling of the files, she did apologize to survivors for the abuse they suffered. Bondi's testimony quickly turned combative, though, while facing tough questions from lawmakers, including Kentucky Representative Thomas Massey.
Move to Chairman,
it's my time.
within 40 minutes, you asked me a question.
You can
Within
give me-
40 minutes, Wexner's name was added back.
Within 40 minutes
You
of me catching you red-handed.
Red hand, there was one redaction out
Where
of
he's
over
listed as a
4,700,
co-conspirator. Okay.
and we invited
You know what?
you
Show the
in.
video.
This guy has Trump derangement syndrome. He needs to. You're a failed politician.
The release of the Epstein files received bipartisan support. One of the top concerns regarding the files is that the Justice Department failed to redact survivors' sensitive personal information, but redacted the information of alleged abusers. U.S. House lawmakers have passed a bill backed by President Trump that would impose strict voter identification requirements. The Save America Act would require documented proof of U.S. citizenship in order to vote in federal elections. The bill would also allow the Department of Homeland Security to seize voter rolls in any state. The GOP says the bill is needed to prevent non-U.S. citizens from voting in elections. Democrats argue it could restrict voting access and discourage people from voting. The bill now heads to the Senate. Well, that's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. I hope you have a great Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. That means it's basically the weekend, right? Well, thanks again for joining us. I hope you have a great day.